Hello everyone, it's the Anime here, and today we're going to be looking at the evidence that Aoyama is the traitor in Class 1A. So with that, hit that shit. Now, before I begin with this theory, I would just like to let anime only fans, if they're watching, that this is safe for anime only fans, is there will be no manga spoilers in this video. So yeah, you can continue watching just in case anyone's worried about that. So yeah, my first piece of evidence, or the newest evidence, is that we did get a piece of artwork with Aoyama in it in the My Hero Academia art expedition. Now, I have it up on screen if I can find the picture, but it has Aoyama like sitting on a rock with some type of dark shadowy figure behind him looking at the camera, around with like Aoyama looking at the camera as he does usually. And this could either be a strong piece of evidence to show that Aoyama is the traitor and that he's done something or is doing something suspicious, as Horikoshi did say in an interview for the Deku and Uraraka, poster he did at the art expedition, which we did get like earlier than this one, since these ones are technically leaks from the art expedition. But yeah, that it was slightly canon, like he was thinking about the future of My Hero Academia while creating these art pieces. So this could technically lead to like something bigger that he's done or doing in the story. So it's highly possible that this could prove that he's the traitor, or like something's dark going on with Aoyama. But there's always still the possibility that it's just a cool artwork that Horikoshi did. So that's like the newest evidence that we have, and the reason why I'm making this video for the most part. But also, there's actually a lot more evidence that we have on Aoyama being the traitor. Now, Aoyama had even his own like episode to being suspicious, though it's played off as a joke. Now, there's a couple of things that we can take from this episode that kind of make it so that it might have been played off as a joke, so that most people wouldn't suspect him as the traitor, but he could still be the traitor. And this is why. One of the first things that could be led back to him being the traitor is one of the things he said to Deku is that still waters run deep. And no, he didn't say it actually directly. He said it by carving the the wording in French into a rock. Now, if that's not suspicious, I don't know what is. But still waters run deep could basically mean like he's a background character, right? But he's running deep in the story. Like he's a big part of the story, even though he's really just a background character. He's running deep in the story, kind of. And basically, he's gonna make a big impact in the story sooner or later, because still runners run deep in the story, kind of, if you see what I'm getting at. And the way he can do that is by being the traitor for Class 1A. And another like big thing is that Aoyama did say to Deku how they're similar by the quirks being incompatible with their bodies. Now, this makes sense for Deku since he was given the quirk, and if you know where I'm going with this, what if, okay, Aoyama was born quirkless, right? And he was given his quirk by All For One. Now, you might be saying, like, why would All For One be given his quirk? Well, Aoyama's family is possibly rich in, like, some aspects, so they might have been able to buy it from All For One. Or they might have actually, or All For One could have recruited Aoyama in exchange for a quirk, right? And he said, and maybe it was a deal, like, I'm gonna give you this quirk, but you have to go into UA High and basically just give me information about the quirks, the heroes, the events that go on that we can infiltrate, and all that stuff. And this is highly possible when you look at the fact that if Deku was given his quirk and it was incompatible with his body, it would make sense that Aoyama's quirk would be incompatible with his body. And another thing is, we do not know much about Aoyama's parents. So, we do not know if they have quirks that's similar to his, which would disprove this theory, because honestly, if they had quirks similar to his, then hey, it would disprove the theory, because you can't have, it just makes sense that it would be his quirk, and it's just something like weird, like malfunction with his body or something that makes it like unsuitable for his body. But if we do get like Aoyama's parents and they have like very different quirks, it's kind of like becomes a little suspicious, because like quirks that usually are differed from the parents' quirks are usually very strong, right? Such as Eri, her quirk is a very strong quirk, and that's because it differs from the parents' quirks. It's a mutation, and mutation quirk-wise have, I believe, said in the series to be very strong quirk, abnormally strong quirks with very special abilities. So, obviously, Naval Laser, it's a decently strong quirk, but I don't think it would be put in the same class as Ares. Ares is like in the class of one for all type of quirk. That's the class it's in. But Naval Laser, it's in a class like maybe like 2 tiers below that in quirks wise. So it wouldn't make sense for it to be a mutation either, really, and that's very rare. So one of the big possibilities is that it's really just a quirk that was given to him from All For One. And we do not know either if quirks given from All For One, or if they're not compatible, if there's any side effects with the host of the quirk. Like if it's given to a random person, it might have different effects because it's not meant for that person or to have that quirk. As said, okay, hold on. Okay, I can't say that because that's part of the manga. But quirks are really basically just, someone says this in the manga, it's not really spoiler, I'm just gonna have to say it to prove for the point. But quirks are basically manifestations of a person's will, almost like the person's characteristics, the person's character. So if a quirk is not matches the person's like characteristics or character, it may end up having problems, so that Aoyama is not being compatible, his quirk is not being compatible with his body. And this has not been really explored with All For One's power. If when he gives someone a quirk, it's not compatible with his body besides his brother, because that quirk was almost like perfect for his brother to have, almost just a perfect match for his actual quirk to like give power away. So it's basically a perfect match. So yeah, with all this evidence, it looks like it's highly possible that if there is going to be a traitor, it would be Aoyama, and it would be really good for the story and overall just his character, because he's one of the characters that really hasn't have a story arc at all in the anime or even in the manga. So it would just be really good for him to have a like a story arc, even if it's a villain arc where he shows himself as the traitor. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, or not, you're free will. And with that, the anime signing off.